when it comes to Bratz, I cannot resist. I don't know why, because I didn't grow up with Bratz. They kind of came on the scene when I was maybe a couple of years outside of the target audience. Not that I ever let that stop me enjoying things for younger children. I'm still a big fan of Barbie films, for example. But despite not having that nostalgic element, I still gravitate towards Bratz films whenever I come across them. And that was certainly the case with Bratz Kidz Fairy Tales. I wanted to watch this for two reasons. One, the Bratz element. Two, I love fairy stories. I love fresh interpretations, and I thought this was, all things considered, pretty decent. This was released in 2008. It's directed by Phil Weinstein, written by Bart Jennett, and we have a voice cast including Britt McKillip, Pauline Newstone, Claire Renaud, Tabitha St. Germain, and various others. And the only thing I don't like, to get this out of the way, is the animation. It's kind of awkward. It's not very good. I did get used to it, though. As I started watching it, I kind of stopped thinking the animation quality was ugly. But it did take a while to get there, so it's not the strongest in terms of the style, but everything else was enjoyable. The characters are putting on this performance for the kindergartners. They're doing this play, this fairy story play, and they're all kind of complaining about how the fairy characters were making poor decisions, and if they were in the same shoes as Red Riding Hood or Cinderella, they would make much better decisions. And this magical frog hears these criticisms and decides to transport them to the land of fairy tales to walk in the shoes of Cinderella, Little Red Riding Hood, Snow White, and Rapunzel, and to regain their appreciation for these fairy stories, and indeed for the hardships that these characters had to go through. They're walking a mile in somebody else's shoes, and these shoes happen to be the aforementioned fairy story characters. And we kind of go through each of the stories in turn, which I thought was really effective, rather than having all of them kind of mashed together. I thought the narrative structure was really effective, and in general, it's quite good fun. If you like fresh interpretations of classic stories, then it certainly might appeal. But I will also say, if you don't like Bratz, I'm not a big fan of Bratz Kidz, to be honest. I prefer it when they're almost fully grown teenagers. I just think that's more appealing. But if you're not a fan of Bratz at all, even if you love fairy stories, I will say it's maybe not going to be the best experience, largely because of the animation, and if you don't care for the characters already, then it may not have enough elements to make it appealing. But I'd still say maybe check it out, but just don't expect to absolutely love it. We have some good songs in this, the voice acting's good, the narrative works well, the costumes as well, the outfits the characters are wearing are quite nice, particularly the Snow White outfit. It was recognisable but a little different, and I thought that was really nice. And in general, if you like Bratz, if you like fairy tales, then it kind of goes without saying that Bratz Kidz Fairy Tales might be worth watching. It's just over an hour, not tremendously long. It's a nice, pleasant experience, and ultimately good fun. The animation is really the only main issue. But as I said, eventually I stopped hating on it. Eventually I was able to look past the ugly animation and actually enjoy the story and the characters and the costumes. The costumes, despite everything else being badly animated, the costumes are actually quite satisfying. So visually, may not be the most appealing, but if there are enough elements in this that are drawing you to it, Bratz and fairy tales primarily, then I'd say give it a go. It's a fun experience, and as a one-time watch, I thought Bratz Kidz Fairy Tales was not too bad.